The Team Lally Show was previously recorded.
It's time to enter the world of real estate in Oahu with Hawaii's only true real estate radio show, the Team Lally Real Estate Show. Grab a pen and get ready to take notes. For the next full hour, Hawaii's premier real estate leader, Adrienne Lally, and Attilio Leonardi will bring you the latest in real estate news and real-world strategies on how they can guarantee to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, or they'll buy it. Now, here are your hosts, Adrienne and Attilio.
Welcome to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. If you have any questions, just give us a call at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Well, hey, everybody. We got some information we want to share with you from Dr. Brene Brown. And if you guys know Dr. Brene Brown, she was just on the podcast Super Soul Sunday with Oprah. And she talks about joyfulness, how, let's see, what does she say? When we lose our tolerance to be vulnerable, joy becomes foreboding. Joy becomes foreboding. She even said something that took Oprah off, took her back a little bit, because she says that the greatest thing that we fear is joy. And what she means by that, and the example she gives is like if you're a parent and you're seeing your little child sleeping, and then you're thinking, oh, it's so awesome to have them in our lives, and then you think, you take a deep breath and like think of something that might happen to them, and that that's what we do, is we take a look at these situations where we are supposed to be enjoying something, mm-hmm. but then we have this attitude of like, I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop. So when we lose our tolerance to be vulnerable, joy becomes foreboding. So what we do in the moments of joyfulness is we try to beat vulnerability to the punch. And that is like, well, you'll get a promotion and you say, well, now that I got this promotion, then something else is going to happen. Or now that, I'm waiting for, someone else in the family to pass away. And then what we do is that what she says is that waiting for the shoe to drop is like a thief. And how you enjoy joyful moments more is by being vulnerable to the fact, yeah, something bad could happen the next day. But if your mind goes there while you're in the joyful moment, then what you're doing is you're, again, slipping into that waiting for the shoe to drop kind of situation. So I'll tell you one thing. If you're an investor and you have you have a rental property, you're never going to have to wait for the shoe to drop, because you will always be joyful if you have your properties managed by Duke and his team. And by the way, is that our next guest?
Yes, we've got Duke Kimhan of Hawaii Pacific Property Management with his tip of the week.
All right. What you got for us, Duke?
Wow, that's quite the intro.
Yeah.
So the tip of the week is when you are looking for another property manager and you are trying to negotiate another property management agreement with another property manager, the property manager you're trying to recruit or have picked, selected, or chose for the next chapter of your property management cannot start work until the other property manager has been terminated.
Yes.
So that's usually a pretty involved thing, because the former property manager now, if they are during the lease, has the lease, security deposit, and most times a property condition form, mm-hmm. and a copy of the keys. So the new property manager has to pick up all those and transfer them in to their system. But for the most part, we don't take on new properties in the middle of a property management cycle if we don't have to.
Yeah.
But if the owner is adamant about terminating and finding somebody new, then we actually do a drive-by of the property and just take a look at everything before we agree.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, it has to have parking, mm-hmm. and it has to be in decent condition. And one thing we don't take over is a tenant that hasn't paid their rent.
Yeah.
A lot of times, property management companies or owners will try and find another property manager to take over a late paying or slow paying tenant.
Yeah.
That is just something we do not do.
Duke, when you say not taking over in the middle of a cycle, do you mean like they've got
the lease?
They've got an agreement for like a 1-year commitment with this property management company, and you're saying they have to wait until that's up, or is it within the middle of the month?
Sometimes I ask the owner if they've given notice to the current property manager, and 99% of the time, the owner will say no.
Yeah.
Because they want to secure another property manager before they terminate the other one. So there's some courtesies involved, right? So if that's the case, a lot of times, we'll get in touch with the old property manager and say, hey, we're the new property management company taking over from Mr. Smith's property at, 1502 Kamehameha Boulevard.
Yes.
And then the most times the property manager is surprised.
They're like, huh?
So they're hearing it from you first, not from their clients.
Correct.
Oh.
It's like
So when I get that response, I usually say, you probably need to have a phone call with your owner.
Yeah.
Because he is changing property management companies. And most times I'll tell the owner I will not engage the former property manager until he has given proper notice.
Yeah.
So the easiest time to do that is when you're between tenants.
Yes.
And you have a vacant unit. It's very easy to change over property management companies.
That's called the clean diaper policy. Duke, when you got the family get together and get the baby in the diaper, have you ever had a relative hand you a baby and say, hold my baby, and the diaper is all full?
Or he says, can you change the diaper?
Can you change the diaper?
You never change the diaper when the diaper is empty.
Yeah. But
you always change it when it's full.
When it's full. It's like, yeah.
Another thing we don't do is we don't do property management services on a home that's listed in the MLS.
Yeah. Tell us why.
For sale, right?
Listed for sale.
It's kind of a situation where damned if you do and damned if you don't, right? So I'm going to try and sell it. I can't sell it. I'm going to try and rent it. Just before you get it all set up and you're about to go on the MLS and put all your advertising out there, the owner says, wait, I have a showing this weekend.
Yeah.
And then you have to stop everything and tell the buyer, oh, no, we're putting it on for rent. You're probably not going to tell the buyer that. So I need owners
They've got to be committed.
Yeah, they got to be committed. It's like, you go on a dating app and then you have 2 dates show up at the restaurant. And you're like, okay, whoever orders the better dinner or the better dessert, I'll see them again.
I like that. I like that choice.
And then you'd be like, what if you're that person at the other table and you're going back and forth? You'd be
it's just an old friend.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so, that reminds me of a story. I had this lady named Mary, and she was hanging out with her friend, Honeygirl. And Honeygirl asked Mary, hey, Mary, how come your baby's diaper is so full? And Mary said, well, the box says hold up to 12 pounds. So,
oh boy,
if you got challenges with your property manager, don't be handing over the baby with the full diaper. It's got to be a clean break.
There's etiquette to it. And Duke has given you the process.
Most of the time people call and, they ask what our charges are and how easy would it be to change over. And that's when I already know that they have a situation that they're not happy with. Yeah. So I usually walk them through that, but a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. So that's some good tips.
So I hope that helps.
Yeah, because I think the people, like I was talking about in the beginning, those people with those property management companies are waiting for the shoe to drop. Everything's happening well, and then maybe that shoe drops too many times and they're ready to come to you and your team. Yeah.
Have a much better experience.
Yeah.
Thank you, Duke.
Thank you, Duke.
Yep. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right, that's Duke Kimhan of Hawaii Pacific Property Management. He is an expert we trust. You can find him on the resource page of teamlally.com.
Yeah, in fact, been having him manage 2 of my properties here for, I think, over 8 or 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right, so we've got another expert we trust.
Yes.
We've got Bradley Maruyama of Allstate Insurance.
Hey, Bradley.
Hey, what's up? Hey, shout out to Duke too. He's been managing my father's rental for about 10 years.
Oh, nice.
There was some damage, and he was right on it. His handyman was on it.
Yep.
And my dad's super stoked. He said, never leaving Duke till the day he dies.
Yes. And then,
but with that said, my tip of the week, we've been coming across, there's a lot of activity in the homeowners and hurricane world right now because there's carriers that are exiting the market. But I would like to tell you folks that because it's so competitive right now, there's a lot of people that are quoting hurricane deductibles at 5%. So it's very, very, very important to know what you're buying. A lot of people are leaving our company to go to a competitor. But when we look at the coverages that they're being offered, it's not apples to apples. So when you are shopping, because let's just say you're with Allstate, not necessarily my company, but let's just say you are shopping and you're going to another company, just make sure that the coverages are apples to apples before you switch. Because sometimes once you leave, it's very hard to get back.
Yeah, I think that you said with, even good insurance companies like Allstate, it's a business, right? And so if you have, it's like a crazy person that they broke up with you, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to break up. But then you're not going to take them back.
So Bradley, if any of our listeners are in that situation where they're shopping around for insurance and just trying to save money.
Yeah.
Will you sit down with them
Give them the apples to apples?
Just as, a neutral third party, just go over the differences. Because it can be kind of confusing. There's just a lot to really understand.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes because a lot of you listeners out there do call me. And sometimes it's a matter of just updating something that was done new to the house. For an example, there was somebody that just called to review their policy. I said, hey, when was the last time you changed your roof? They're like 2 years ago. I said, see if there's hurricane clips on that invoice.
Yeah.
There's hurricane clips. So now we can save an extra $600, $800 depending on the size of home and when the home was built. But right then and there, we were able to save $600 on just by reviewing because I was notified by them that they added hurricane clips. So, there's a lot of things that can make a difference. Or, there was another one 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We knocked down that old house and we rebuilt. The square footage was incorrect. They built double wall versus single wall. So even with a bigger home, with it being knocked down and rebuilt, the premium was cheaper than what they were paying. But they didn't let the agent know.
Gotta let the agent know.
So they were still paying $4,800 a year. And they're like, wow, you're telling me I should be only paying $1,800. Absolutely.
That's a huge difference.
Huge difference. You check on that.
Huge difference. Single wall versus double wall makes a huge difference. So does your bill. So
hurricane clips, going from single wall to double wall.
I think also having that security system, if you have a security system, that also helps.
What if you have hurricane popcorn in your house? Any discounts for hurricane popcorn? No, okay.
It's a good snack, though.
Yeah.
Not going to help you save on your insurance, but
stock up on the hurricane popcorn. So, when electricity and Costco gets all shopped out. But those are good tips. I mean, the point being is that a lot of times people don't want to call the insurance person because they think it'll cost more. But you're showing that you can review the insurance and save them money.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll review it and I'll dig, and sometimes I'm going to tell you there's nothing you can do. But so far, a lot of times I'll find an alternative company. Sometimes I'll find things that weren't updated. That's very important because even when I'm reviewing my own insurance policies, If we don't know, we can't update. So if you make a renovation change, you don't let us know that you added 1,200 square feet for your daughter and son-in-law. I can't increase that coverage to cover you properly if we don't know. So
yes,
very important to let your agent know if there's any TV panels added, if there's a Ohana dwelling added. You got to let your agent know.
Yeah.
And then, Bradley, before we let you go, I did have this question because I was seeing, some stuff happening on social media with the flood zone maps and rezoning.
Yeah.
Maybe you could comment on that because I know that there's a lot of concerned people.
How is that going to affect the insurance?
I'm going to go and I don't want to go and say incorrect information.
Yes.
So far, on the ones that I've been helping realtors with, I haven't seen a huge impact.
Gotcha.
But what I can do is research it and make sure I talk about it next week.
Okay. Well, that would be great because, I saw it kind of disappear for a while, but I know that, people are curious. Like, if that does go into effect, like, how is that going to, change my insurance policy?
My grandma's house, they live up Makakilo, all the way at the top, and her flood insurance went up.
Well, now she has flood insurance because she's in the flood zone.
She's in the flood zone.
What has been kind of weird is that we've noticed a lot of our premiums actually went down. So
that's good.
I would like to research it a little bit and see where it went up and where it went down, because that could be a positive when looking to purchase or sell a property.
Yeah. So today's takeaway from Bradley from Allstate Insurance is this. You got regular popcorn, Costco popcorn, and then you got hurricane popcorn. It's not the same. You got the furikake, you got the mochi crunch. You got to put them in the bag and mix it up.
I think the takeaway is to just call Bradley, and he will help you understand the kind of insurance that you have. If you are overinsured, underinsured.
Yeah.
If, he's going to ask you some detailed questions that could, help you save money. So
that's it.
Call him.
I think you should bring one package of hurricane popcorn. Say, free package of hurricane popcorn for every
Bradley,
insurance analysis.
What's the best number our listeners can call you at?
Yeah.
Direct.
808-591-8016.
All right.
So give him a call. Thank you, Bradley.
Thank you, Bradley.
Thank you.
That's Bradley Maruyama of Allstate Insurance. You can find out more about him on our resource tab at teamlally.com. We also have some fun little videos that we've done with Bradley over the years. He's been, helping me for over 15 years.
Yeah.
With my, personal insurance.
Hey, quick tip I wanted to share before we go into the deal of the week. When you're listening to podcasts on an iPhone, sorry, Google people or you Android people, I don't know how it works on those, but in the bottom left, there's like a little text bubble thing, and you can actually see the script.
And just read it.
And clear your throat. And then you can also, you can actually search for a certain word. So if there was a certain word that you want to see in that podcast, you don't have to be like fast forward, rewind, go faster, go
Is that
go slower.
Attilio's tech tip of the week?
So that's how you can be more efficient when you go back and like, wow, that was really profound what Oprah said. I need to go back to that.
Okay, so this week's deal of the week is in Kaneohe, Yacht Club Knowles community. We just did a big reduction by $25,000, so it is now listed at $899,000. And there's also a 2.25% loan with a $556,000 remaining balance. The first floor primary suite that opens up to its own private lanai, vaulted ceilings, large storage area. It's just a 5-minute drive to the Marine Corps base and conveniently located near shopping, golfing, schools, and stunning beaches. Yeah. So that is our deal of the week. Just seems like a great opportunity. I love this 2.25% loan.
Yeah, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars
I mean,
that can save you over a 30-year loan by having that interest rate versus today at 6%.
And here's the other cool thing.
Oh,
right?
yeah. What is the other cool thing?
So in loans, what happens is all of that interest that you pay to the bank is all front loaded. And then as we go further in time, more towards the principal.
It's called amortization.
Yes. So like a lot of this interest has already been paid up front. And then you're chipping away at the principal.
So if you call us and you'd be like, oh, hey, I heard about that deal of the week in Kaneohe. You got that armadillo thing going on. No, it's amortization.
But, I mean, we can definitely do the math and explain to you how much money that you will save by doing the assumptions.
Yeah, if you did if you just bought it, purchase price, today's interest rate versus this loan, how much money? Because you don't think about it.
It's a huge savings.
There's the purchase. We learned this from some millionaires. There's the purchase price of a home, and then there's the cost.
Yes. There's the
cost of the home. The cost of the home is something that stays with you over time. And some aspects of the cost of a home go up. Some go down. You want to talk about Pi Day? She's pointing at the Pi Day.
Pi Day.
Go ahead. What's Pi Day?
So that's coming up November 26th from 5 to 7 at our office.
Yeah.
We can service you through with a drive-through pie pickup, or
you know what? No drive-through. You gotta, stop being an introvert.
Come in.
Germaphobe. Just come inside the office. You can wear one mask and gloves. That's okay.
We're gonna have food, drinks, karaoke, and a photo booth.
Yeah, we're gonna have it's with the props. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
A fun little photo booth, and then the other new thing that we're doing this year, it's called Get a Pie, Give a Pie. So you sign up, and then you indicate who you want to deliver a pie on your behalf, but it's got to be in Kapolei or Eva Beach, and we'll do that on November 25th on your behalf. What if my friend
is in Kalaupapa and Molokai?
No.
No, okay.
Just Eva Beach or Kapolei.
What if my friend is in Lahaina, Maui?
No.
No, gotta be
okay,
Kapolei or Eva Beach.
And then what's going on with the pets, Attilio?
Pets, we will have pup cups for our furry friends. Our furry friends will have pup cups. And we're supporting our furry veterans.
Furry? No, they're not furry.
They're not furry. Sometimes they're furry. But bring a donation by for U.S. vets. Their mission is to end homeless for our veterans. If in fact you don't know, but a lot of times you think it's just for the veterans, and they do have a location facility in Kalaeloa out in Kapolei, and then they do have one out in Waianae.
Yep.
And I was doing some research, clicking on their websites, and they actually do help non-veterans also. So
they're doing a lot of good in our community. So
you're serving, as it says, how I think it says in the Bible, how you treat the least of us is how you treat me. So come and be good brothers and sisters keepers of our fellow people in our community. Come to our pie event, get a pie yourself.
Yep. So it's teamlally.com/pie.
Now, you can't come that day and say, oh, yeah, I want this pie over here to go. No, you got to tell us that in advance, because we're going to deliver the pie for you the day before our pie event.
Okay.
Not the day of.
All right. And then before we take a break, I want to just quickly mention our celebrity home of the week.
Yeah.
We've got Red Hot Chili Peppers, Anthony Kiedis. He just put his home on the market for $5.5 million.
Yeah.
So
called the Castillo de la Esperanza.
So he bought it in early 2000s for $2.2 million. That's pretty cool. He at least doubled his value there.
1930s Mediterranean style main house and a guest house built in 2016. The former owner was Anthony Kiedis, lead singer and founder of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Owned the property in the early 2000s, purchased it, like you said, for 2.2. And what's some highlights? Hollywood Knolls, Hollywood Hills, Los Angeles. That's where it's located, overlooking Lake Hollywood.
And it's four bedrooms, 4 bath, 4,000 square feet with 2 levels. And it just looks like it's a beautiful home. So, anyways, that's our celebrity home of the week.
All right. So, I talked about it in the beginning of the show, and real quick before we go on the break, that sometimes we rob the feeling of joy or a joyful experience by thinking like, oh, but, everything is good. Something bad is going to happen. And what Dr. Brene Brown in 20 years of research has said is get into a state of gratitude. What are you grateful for? And that's the countermeasure. That's the pill you take. That's the prescription to be joyful in the moment and get out of that mindset of waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Okay. So every day, like that could be a habit. What are you grateful for?
As soon as you get up in the morning, be grateful that your eyes went open. You can start with that. Mm-hmm. Hey, we're about to take a break, but stay with us. When we come back, we'll be talking with Amphay Champathong of Estate Planning Group of Hawaii. We're going to be talking about trusts. We'll dive into the importance of estate planning and tips for ensuring your loved ones are cared for.
So stay with us.
Have you ever been in a financial bind? How long did you wait before you called in the experts? Aaron and Alexis knew they couldn't wait much longer. They were preparing to return to the mainland and carrying both a rent and a mortgage on their home in Mililani. It was definitely time to call my friends Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally Real Estate Group of Keller Williams Honolulu to step in and help. They dove right in and discussed the selling process, wasting no time. Adrian and Attilio prepared their home for market, and within 3 short weeks, the listing went live. But wait, not even a full week later, Aaron and Alexis had 2 offers on their home and closed escrow over the asking price. When you need to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama, trust Adrian and Attilio of Team Lally to do the job for you. Call 808-799-9596. That's 808-799-9596. Or visit teamlally.com, spelled Lally, Lally.
Taking one cash offer for your home doesn't have to be your only option. I'm Barbara Corcoran, and especially in today's current market, having a local real estate agent who offers great marketing and options that are customized to fit your needs is smart. In Honolulu, the agents I trust are Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi. They can give you a guarantee to sell your home, flexible fees, or up to $10,000 in cash to help with repairs. Get the option that's right for you. Go to teamlally.com.
Hey, Sean Hannity here, talking with the only real estate agent in your market I recommend. Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, Honolulu. You know, it's more important than ever that you have your house in top condition when you sell it. Can you give some suggestions on how to do that?
Sean, homes need to be move-in ready. The basics are decluttering, depersonalizing, professional cleaning, and getting all the honey-do lists done. We have the resources to do a full remodel and or simple things like cleaning, painting, and landscaping.
How will that impact the listing price?
Ultimately, by working with a team of professionals with a ton of resources and strategies, you will net more money in a shorter amount of time. That's it. Let's go.
Great update. Thank you for keeping us informed. Put the most experience and the best marketing to work for you. Call Team Lally now at 799-9596 or online at teamlally.com. That's teamlally.com.
Welcome back, and thanks for listening to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Attilio.
And if you have any questions, just give us a call at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Hey, and our guest today arrived in Hawaii with his family after spending a couple of years in a camp. He grew up in Kalihi, attended Kalani High School, and went on to complete his college education at the University of Hawaii.
He holds a BA in sociology, a master's in social work, and a Juris Doctorate from the William S. Richardson School of Law. As a member of the Hawaii State Bar Association, he practices in estate planning and serves as a guardian ad litem, making significant contributions to our community. Please welcome back our guest, Amphay Champathong.
Hey guys, aloha.
Aloha.
Hey, Amphay, you know, I Googled this right before you came on. People who have died without a trust. You ready? You want to hear some of it? I know you.
Celebrities.
Celebrities. Name one already. You must know one. Amphay.
My favorite 80s Prince.
Prince died without one.
Yes.
Guess what? Aretha Franklin. Sonny Bono. Oh, everybody knows this guy. Tupac Shakur. And then
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Died in 1996 without a will, and his estate.
He was a young guy, though. Yeah.
And then Chadwick Boseman, and people not going to recognize that name, but that was the Black Panther in the Marvel series. And then Heath Ledger, everybody knows that actor. But, and then Stan Lee.
That's odd.
Are you serious? Stan Lee?
Yeah, died without an estate plan.
Wow. He was kind of on the older side.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking like
he had plenty of time to be planning that.
You know, if I was coming off an airplane and I saw Stan Lee, he was there and he had his personal assistant, and I regret to this day not going up to him and getting his autograph because I'm a huge fan.
I think we were in the TSA line with him.
Yeah, and we you know how you get snakes, right? So he was on the snake side. He was like sneaking by, and I was like, "That's Stan Lee." And everybody's like, "That's Stan Lee." And then I should have got his autograph, done a selfie with him.
Or you should have said, "Hey, have you done your estate plan?"
Yeah, I would have said, "Stan Lee, 2 pieces of advice. Do not buy any green bananas and get your estate planning squared away." But he didn't. So it was a big, so let's talk about that.
Like, what is an estate plan?
We'll talk about estate planning and all of that. But
what is it?
Was there anything in particular you wanted to chat about before we get started?
I want to talk about the Black Panther that you brought that up. That was so amazing, you know?
Chadwick
I'm just like at awe with that list that you gave me. Wow, I might have to look them up. I'm like very curious about what happened to Stan Lee's estate, you know?
And
the
check
one
this out.
Interesting fact.
Yeah. But not only that, Amy Winehouse, Jimi Hendrix, Pablo Picasso, Abraham Lincoln, Bob Marley, Howard Hughes. Anyway.
The list goes on.
The list goes on.
The list goes on.
Well, go ahead.
So one interesting fact about the Black Panther. So he was married, and when he passed away, he didn't. So him and his wife, they had a somewhat of a interesting relationship. And when he died, as you shared, he didn't have any planning done.
Yeah.
So because they didn't have any children, the state of California said, with regards to his estate, the wife would split it with the parents, with his parents. And mind you now, the parents didn't know that he got married to the wife.
Oh.
So when they divided his estate up, initially it was worth $3.8 million. So the family lost $900,000 because of all the court's legal proceedings. Okay. And then now the $2.3 million had to be split between the wife and his parents.
Oh, wow.
Imagine how the wife felt. Think about that one.
Yeah.
So why did his parents not know that he got married? Were they like not speaking to each other? Or that's odd for them not to know these things.
And then now being the wife, if you were to assume, right, and of course I'm making assumptions, it probably deals with relationships now. Can you imagine though being the spouse and then thinking that now you've worked hard with your significant other in building up your wealth.
Yeah.
And then when your spouse dies, especially if you don't have a relationship with your mother or father-in-law, then they get, half of your family's estate. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Even little side note, Princess Wales, the Princess Diana, she had a will prepared, and then she did some additions called letters of wishes, which was a late amendment to her will. However, they were disregarded because they were not considered legal documents. So completely, and they went back to the original will, which is not, because she thought she had it amended. So talk about what people are thinking in their heads, what they want to happen, and talk about actually what happens when you don't have a trust in place.
So I would actually say a proper estate plan is a more, appropriate statement because, yes, I mean, and this is one thing that we focus on this will, you mentioned earlier with Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin actually had 2 wills and then one being drafted by an attorney's office. And they fought for years to see which was the valid will. And it had implications, financial implications. And worst of all, similar to Princess Diana, it creates a lot of conflict with the families. Families will fight. Aretha's, for example, her 3 sons were fighting for about 4 to 5 years until they decided on which will was the valid will.
Yeah.
So, and it's important that we do, again, a proper estate plan because at the end of the day, the goal is to have peace of mind, to know,
okay, that your assets, your affairs are all in place. While you're alive and well, you have full control.
Yep.
When you become incapacitated, where you cannot make decisions, you have plans in place for you and your loved ones. Mm-hmm. And then when you pass away, you know exactly who's going to get what, how they're going to get it, when they're going to get it, and now hence the peace of mind.
So Amphy, what is the difference, though, between a will and having an estate plan?
Yeah.
So this is the whole thing with will misconception. If you ask the general public, right, if they did their planning, it hasn't failed me yet once. Okay, well, first of all, when I do a workshop or presentation to the general public, I would say less than 30% when we ask about planning would have done their plan. Okay, and then I further inquire with the less than 30% that said they did their planning and ask them, what does that mean to you? And a majority of them will say that they did their will. And what I'm going to share with you now is that a will is absolutely not enough. Okay? A will in a proper estate plan is actually something that we don't ever have to use. It's actually a safety net. It is not the document that you would utilize, because all wills must go through probate. And second, a will does absolutely nothing to help you when you're incapacitated. It only is effective when you pass away.
So they're like, oh, step on the oxygen line. He only has a will. And it's not good if he's still humming along. Yeah, because when you say estate planning, I think it's like I like to use analogies. Tony Robbins is the best at this. The reason we use analogies per Tony Robbins is you're trying to explain something that people don't understand in terms that they do. So correct me if I'm wrong, Amphy. An estate planning is like chapters in a book that address different aspects of your life, and the trust is just one chapter in that big book.
And I would say probably the biggest chapter.
There you go.
And the most important one as well.
Right? Because all the other chapters that you talked about are the what if scenarios. What if I don't die? I'm just incapacitated. The will's not going to cover that, but the things that you have in the estate planning. Talk about other kind of misconceptions that people have regarding, I have a plan. They think that the will is the plan.
Or thinking that they have a plan.
Yeah.
And the provisions, the setup, the designs of these estate plans are very, very important.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you an example, and this has been prominent this year in terms of my office, the type of families are coming through. Like, for example, when we think about incapacity. So incapacity is an individual's inability to make decisions because of either a disability, an accident, cognitive impairment like dementia, Alzheimer's.
Yes.
Okay? So generally, you always rely on the general, old school way of doing was always doctor decides. Yeah. Right? The problem is you can have two doctors have two different opinions on the same question, and then who's going to settle that? It usually involves the court. Very costly, time-consuming. Okay, worse yet, it's when medical facilities actually don't even make a decision because they don't want the liability. And now the family's stuck.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been kind of like going through this, and it's just amazing. I read one where the drafted document said 3 doctors will decide in the jurisdiction in which the individual lived. And I'm like, good luck finding one doctor to sign off, let alone 3 doctors to sign off to say somebody's incapacitated, because, they can already foresee all of the issues that's going to come up, right? Yeah. And litigation, witness, whatever it may be. Yeah.
I think the doctors are there for people to hear this, and that they're there to advise. But ultimately, the family needs to make the decision. I think that's preferential process when you're in that state, right? The doctors are going to prefer, we're going to give you all the advice that you need to know. But it's just like, like cancer patients, they can make a decision to live their lives out longer through chemotherapy, though it's inevitable that it's not going to put it in full remission, or they can just decide, you know what, I'm not going to do any of that. And my focus is just going to be comfortable in the last parts of my life. But that's not a decision that the doctor can make for the patient. And it's not even something
the doctor is not willing.
Yeah, and it's not even a decision, maybe the patient. But it's going to be the family, if given the the authority to do so, and picking the people that love you and care for you. That, and I think you said pick, and don't put that burden just on one person. Put it on a group of your loved ones. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's just, and the consequences of that. I mean, it's just, it's been, it's been tragic, already with families having to deal with the emotional toll and the grieving and the healing, now to deal with all these legalities and, it's just a mess. And to me, the best thing is to sit with, an attorney. Of course, it doesn't have to be me or my law firm, but any attorney, and really, iron out what your wishes and what your plans is going to be. And it has to be customized in that way.
Yeah.
So Amphy, there's so much to consider or to think about, or like the what if scenarios. It's like there's almost like so much. It becomes a little overwhelming. What kind of, process does your firm go through in order to just help to, facilitate the plan?
We actually make it really simple, Adrian. Mm-hmm. I mean, when families come to sit with me, we will spend the time to actually educate the families and really walk them through the process. It's like a roadmap. If you just saw the map, you'll look at it and be like, oh, my dear, what is all of this? It looks like just a whole bunch of things. But as we walk through it and we talk about it, about what is actually going on, by the time that we're done, a lot of, they will breathe a sign of relief. They say, thank you, we're all done. I'm like, yes. You do have some homework. However, your plan is in place. So we now really value education for our families. We want to make sure, like I said, they make well-informed decisions with the advices that we provide for them. Yep. So that way now they do have that peace of mind when they are done with their planning.
I think, too, what's too important to point out, because I personally did it with you, was updating your trust over time, because, relationships change.
Kids get older.
Assets changed. Maybe your mindset on certain things. Healthcare directives change over time, and it's important to update them, because in real estate we have this one saying: keep your handwriting long because your memory is short. So you're gonna be thinking, oh, that's in the trust, and then you go back and like, oh, that's not in the trust. Oh, I gotta update it. How often? How often? Go ahead, Adrian, with the question.
Yeah, how often, Amphy, do you recommend to make those updates or to review?
Or what triggers?
So I would say review is optimal, to look at your plan once every 3 to 5 years. And if there are nothing to update, then you let it be, because it will be, it's reliable. It's just. So I would say every 3 to 5 years, review your planning, and if no changes need to be made, then we'll let it be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What we do at my firm is we do, in the event that, say, there is changes in the law, as an example, then we would notify our families if their plans need to be updated. Yep.
Gotcha.
But for the most part, it's really for them. One more thing I wanted to add to that, Attilio, when you talk about, real estate, and I go, one of the things that I let families know is when you create a trust, your trust is kind of like, think of it as a bucket.
Yeah.
So as you now acquire more, like say you acquire more property, you acquire more assets, you acquire more wealth for your family, then you would just put these assets and properties into your bucket.
Yeah.
So it's actually being used. And those things really don't need, an attorney to update those documents. You can just put these assets in there.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say put them in there, that means
put them in the bucket.
Put the title of the property into the trust.
Correct.
Or so if the property is owned in an LLC, the owners of the LLC needs to be the trust.
Correct. Yep. So when you have ownership interest, when you open up, say, an investment account, or you buy CDs, or you get crypto, or whatever it may be, all of these things will go into your trust, and then you would provide instructions.
Yeah.
right, to your trustees.
What happens if you forget to put it in the trust? Is there some, what do you call it, like a pour over will? Can you explain how that works?
Yeah, what is that?
If you forget.
Yeah,
one of those accounts.
So that actually circles back to when we first started this morning, regarding the will. And I shared with you, right, in a proper estate plan, a will is actually a safety net. A will is not the instrument we want to use for our planning. So in the event now you forget to put something into your bucket, meaning funding it, like say, for example, a property, or that property, you're in the midst of acquiring that property and something tragic happens and that property never went into the trust. That property, that asset now must go to probate.
Okay.
If it goes to probate, the will is actually a pour over will instead of a last will and testament. Now, this pour over will be provided to the court. It's going to instruct the courts, judge, that property, that asset that I did not put in trust, go ahead and pour it over into the trust, making the trust now the beneficiary. That's why it's a safety net. We do have to go to probate because it wasn't in now. However, it says put everything into the trust and allow my trustees to administer through the trust.
So it's like it's like a mini probate kind of thing versus like if you had no estate plan and no will, which would have been like, that's a lot more extensive. Or is it the same amount?
The court. It actually does have to go to probate. However, the instructions are clear as to who now is the heirs. It would basically it's going to go into trust.
So it still has to do the probate, but like it's a lot better than just going into probate with no instructions.
Yeah.
Right, because then the laws, intestacy, we call it intestacy, where you don't have anything in place. Now that rule now will apply. So it goes back to like the Black Panther as an example with Channing Bronson when he passed away. So the state of California rule says that if you die, if you're married and you pass away and you don't have any children, your estate now will be split between your spouse and your parents.
And that's just a California law, rules, right? That's just California.
It's also in Hawaii as well.
Oh, okay.
They're all different.
Okay.
Yeah. So Hawaii has a similar law. The numbers may be different, but it's similar in that if you're married, you don't do your planning, you and your spouse, if you pass away, your spouse now will get a percentage, a money amount, and then now the remainder of the asset will be split 3/4 to 1/4. Basically, is what it's going to be.
What if the parents are no longer around? What if they've passed away? Will it just go 100% to the spouse?
Correct.
Okay.
So there's all these different rules. So it just, like I said, and it gets funky as now. So the law will do its best to kind of guess at what you want to see happen. The more that changes, especially when you look at what nuclear families are like now. If I ask you today versus 40 years ago, what is a family, right? 40 years ago would probably be husband, wife, children, right? Nowadays, given the, statistics in terms of how, families are so much more blended now, right? It's more that you see blended families than you see nuclear, like just a, traditional family, right?
Well, today's family is a group of Homo sapiens with no personal pronouns. That would be the most liberal description of it. Interesting here, another misconception people have is like wealthy people, billionaires, they're so smart, they got all these attorneys. Howard Hughes. Anybody heard of Howard Hughes? Howard Hughes is a development company, by the way, that's building all those luxury high-rises in Kaka'ako.
Yep.
Still exists today. He had no will.
That's
he was
crazy.
worth $2.5 billion.
Wow.
They had over 1,000 heirs come out of the woodworks, and they settled with 200 of them. Guess how long it took, Amphy, if you had to guess. Guess how long all of this took?
I would say 8 years.
Close, 34.
What?
34 years?
34 years.
Ooh,
wow. That's nuts.
Because it's just, so you'd be surprised. So young, old, smart, plenty of money, no more money. But if you got assets, Be smarter than Howard Hughes. Be smart. You know what?
Be smart. And
How to be smarter than a billionaire. Call Amphy.
Yeah, give Amphy a call. He'll help you get started on it. He makes it very easy, stress-free.
Yeah.
Attilio and I have both done our plans with Amphy, and it's easy.
No, I'm not. You know, when I step off the curb, I still look twice, but I'm not really paying attention to buses anymore. I know they're there, but I'm not so hyper aware of them.
Yeah. So, Amphy, we are coming towards the end of the show. So if there's any last-minute thoughts that you want to share with our listeners before we let you go.
One thought.
I'm stuck at 34 years.
Yeah.
I'm like,
we're shocked.
You know, and I'm still shocked. You know, and the worst part of it all is the families have to wait.
Yeah.
So imagine if it wasn't Hughes, it was your, your typical family.
Mm-hmm.
See, even if you have young children, your children have to wait.
Yep.
And if it's going to take 34 years, what happens then? And I go, in my office, we're here, this is what we do. And I will share with you on a daily basis, like the stories that come. I mean, we were not able to make these up, and it's a daily thing.
Real life.
Having, and it's horrible for the families. And I can't say enough about, everybody needs to do their planning.
Yes.
If you have a home, if you have property, again, if you're married, you have a splendid family, you have special needs loved ones. If you own a business, you have to look at doing your planning, whatever that level of planning is.
Hey, let's be real, folks. We're all leaving this planet the exact same way. No one's getting out of it. So have an estate plan put together to take care of your loved ones.
Mm-hmm. And we recommend Amphy. He's the best.
Yes.
He is our expert we trust, and
for estate planning.
And he's done a great job for both myself and Attilio, and some of our team members as well.
All right. Well, thank you, Amphy.
Thank you, Amphy.
Thank you, guys. Oh, thank you for that wonderful list, Attilio. I'm going to have to look up Stanley.
Yeah, Abraham Lincoln, 16th president. He was an attorney. He didn't have a will.
Mm-hmm.
So amazing. But hey, life happens. It's not a plan. Death is not a plan, but your estate can be a plan.
That's right.
Yeah. All righty. Thank you, Amphy.
Aloha, guys. Thank you. Aloha.
All right. So if you go to the Experts We Trust page on teamlally.com, you can find out all about Amphy, and there's contact information there as well. And
just a note for Adrian and myself, if we had a need on a personal level, these are the people we go to. We use them too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Grace Spiller? She gave us a 5-star review. She said the whole team was patient, knowledgeable, and extremely helpful. They kept me informed, updated frequently, which helped my stress levels. Very professional and organized. And Attilio is very handsome.
She did not say that.
She didn't say that last part. I made that up.
But yeah, she did. She was a great client. Thank you, Grace, for the review.
His dad jokes are awesome.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and thank you to our sponsors.
Jody and Derek of Pacific Rim Mortgage.
Bradley of Allstate Insurance.
Kenji with Pillar to Post Home Inspections.
John with Kilauea Pest Control.
Duke with Hawaii Pacific Property Management.
Robinson of Fine Line Paintworks.
Amphy with Estate Planning Group.
Jason Wu, Attorney at Law.
Rhino with Hawaii Unified.
Janice of Dreamhouse Drafting.
Fabio of Hawaii Water Damage Restoration.
Jake of Go Local Power.
If you want to get a hold of any of our sponsors, just go to teamlally.com.
We also want to give a big thank you to Leah Rodriguez, our producer here in the studio.
Chee-hoo.
Make sure to tune in next week. We'll have an awesome guest talking about something that'll change your life.
Forever. This is the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the guaranteed
sold program. If we can't sell your home at the agreed upon price in our time frame, we'll have it bought for cash. Thanks and aloha.
The preceding program was sponsored by Team Lally.